How to migrate perspective across workspaces in Eclipse. I have created my own perspective in a workspace in Eclipse. But, when I start working on a different workspace, I would like to have access to the same perspective. How do I migrate perspective from one workspace to another?
There are two ways to do this. First method. This one involves copying files. Go to your workspace directory and look in this path. This directory contains the perspective settings and the workbench layout. Copy this folder and its contents to the workspace, same path, of the other computer. You might also want to look in. This directory contains all the settings you have made in the Eclipse preferences. There is an article on this on a blog at how to export Eclipse workbench layout, or perspective settings. Second method. This can be done using the GUI of Eclipse from. This will export the preferences to a .epf file. You can then import it in another Eclipse workspace from.
Two methods from share Eclipse perspective layouts across multiple workspaces. Method 1. Save the layout as a new perspective. To save your perspective, select Window is greater than Save Perspective As from the application menu. A dialog should pop up, shown below, prompting you for a perspective name. Enter a name that you'll remember, e.g. My Java or Debug Jack. Click OK once you've entered a new name. Note, you can choose to overwrite one of the default perspectives, e.g. Java, without fear. However, I prefer to leave these intact, so always choose a new name, but you can choose whatever works for you. Now you can go through the normal routine of exporting the preferences to a properties file via file is greater than export is greater than general is greater than preferences. Then import the same file in another workspace via file is greater than import is greater than general is greater than preferences. All you now have to do is switch over to the perspective you saved and all your layout settings will be restored. If you overwrote one of the default perspectives, you may have to select Window is greater than Reset Perspective to restore the saved settings. If you've chosen to create a new perspective, be sure to point your run/debug settings to the new perspective under Window is greater than Preferences is greater than run/debug is greater than Perspectives. For example, if you made a new perspective based on the debug perspective, then you'll need to change references to the debug perspective to the My Debug for launchers you use. Luckily, this is only required once, as these settings are also saved when you export preferences, at least since Eclipse 3.5. Method 2. Use copy settings. The other method of saving your window layout is to use the copy settings feature when switching to another workspace. To use this feature, first open the workspace that contains your customized layout. Then select File is greater than Switch Workspace is greater than Other, which will open a dialog prompting you for an existing/new workspace. Select the workspace, then click the Copy Settings collapsible section. Select the Workbench Layout checkbox and click OK. Your workspace will open and should reflect the customized layout of the previous workspace. Here's what the dialog looks like.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.